Hello and welcome to our latest episode of What's on the Horizon. I'm Lori Sharonbrock here with Chris Schucker of Digital Horizons, and today I want to talk about the total cost of ownership of a sound system. And it's one thing to make that initial investment on a gorgeous TV, sound system, Apple TV, you name it, it's here. But what happens after? Like, we have that initial cost. What can you expect from ongoing costs in that kind of system?
So it really depends on the system.
Sure.
You know, if you're in the instance that you provided of a single room entertainment system, there really isn't a lot of ongoing costs. There's not a lot of maintenance in a scenario like that. If somebody wants us to come out and, maybe do a calibration or, go through and clean components, or, if something happens outside of the ordinary, like a kid gets into something and, twists knobs, push buttons, maybe tries to connect the gaming console and messes things up, we can come out and kind of treat those things on a a la carte or ad hoc type basis type of thing. But in a larger system, maybe a whole home thing, or something like a security system, there tends to be some maintenance needs, but again, it really depends on the system, and so every system would be different in that case. Yeah.
Is there a standard shelf life to certain products? Like, I know, my parents got a TV when my sister was an infant, and that thing lived for like 25 years. I don't think they make things like that.
Oh, sure they do.
Anymore, but I mean, is there a lifespan?
There really isn't a definite lifespan. I mean, things, I have kind of a skewed perspective because, when we're contacted after something is installed, it's usually because somebody needs help. Yeah. And so I see the downside. And so I have to recalibrate sometimes to look at, if I get a call about something, what percentage of our client base is the one that, are calling us, and ultimately it's a very small amount.
Yep.
Things can last a very long time. I mean, decades is not out of the question.
Yep.
There are things that are generally going to last longer just by nature of what they are, maybe how much they're used, that type of thing. But what I would say is the things that tend to not necessarily last as long, but but people want to upgrade, are audio video elements. A home theater system, maybe because there's a new TV, the television technology tends to move pretty quick. Yeah. So people tend to want to update those things because they're more cognizant of those changes. They go to a friend's house, they see it in a store, they want something new. The things that on the other end that probably don't change as much or last longer are probably like security systems. Not necessarily cameras, but security systems, because monitoring for temperature and monitoring for smokes and motion and things like that are kind of like a standardized thing. Yeah. The elements of those types of things that do change are the ability for people to remotely access stuff. Yeah. But that is something that can happen without changing, say, the core of the system, like the panel, the actual door contacts and security sensors. All of those things are fairly standardized and last a very long time. I would say, things that tend to get replaced or updated are often based on video. So your television, maybe your surround sound receiver, things like that are what gets replaced or wants to be replaced. Yeah.
And I imagine that's, the benefit of investing in good quality pieces, like the brands like Sony or the brands that you guys use. You aren't brand specific, but there are ones that you use, and that's probably a reason that you do, because they have a longer shelf life and a lower cost of maintenance ongoing.
Or they're a lot of the reasons that we choose to work with who we do is because they allow us to take care of things, or they offer service above and beyond, longer warranties. Like Sony has a 5-year warranty on their surround sound receivers, and we value that pretty highly, even if at times maybe they're not the best product. They're maybe marginally worse if they are. That warranty, being able to stand behind something, is so valuable, especially when our customers aren't as in tune with audio performance as we are. We know they want a nice system, so if we make a decision to work with somebody because they offer a longer warranty, we know that has more value than maybe a superior performing product.
Sure, that makes sense. Any other final thoughts that our viewers should know about that?
I would say that just keeping in mind the complexity of some systems do benefit from proactive maintenance and service, but it really depends on the system, and just know that that's something that's on our mind when we design things, as we do things to try and limit that, but just know that sometimes it is a good thing to keep in the mind. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. If you're curious about your system or think it might need a tune-up, head to the Digital Horizons website, digitalhorizonsmn.com. Phone number's there. You can give them a call to schedule an appointment. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next episode.